I created a very hard challenge for the Metroid Prime trilogy, because I thought the games weren't hard enough. Here are the rules. Permadeath, hard mode, no HUD, no glitches, and no additional item pickups. I managed to beat Metroid Prime Remastered with these rules. Then I wanted to try out Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. But this game is way harder than I initially thought. In fact, I believe this challenge might be impossible to beat. Let's go through my best attempt. I'll explain how I figured out each boss and area. The run begins at Temple Grounds. At this stage, enemies are not too strong, so I don't worry too much. Upon reaching the Great Temple, I encounter the first mini-boss, Dark Alpha Splinter. My strategy involves dodging and continuously firing charged beam shots, making the fight quite easy. After defeating it, I receive the Twilight Translator from the Luminot and proceed to the next region, Aegon Wastes. In Aegon Wastes, I need to gather several power-ups before facing the area's boss, referred to as a Guardian. Along the way, I encounter a few bosses. Mini-bosses I face against are Bomb Guardian, which isn't a difficult fight at all. Jump Guardian is a very easy fight too, because it jumps a lot, though I cannot damage this boss while it jumps. Besides these bosses, my strategy is to use cover while fighting enemies. This room is a good example, as those enemies become more powerful from Dark Eater's power. After going through Aegon Wastes, I face against Dark Samus. The middle of the room has this big structure that I use as a cover the whole fight. Eventually Dark Samus goes down, and I collect the Dark Beam. Then I make my way through Dark Ether to collect Light Beam. This game introduces dark and light beams with limited ammo. Each regular shot costs 1 ammo, while charged shots cost 5, maximum amount being 50. I have to try to keep track of my ammo count, since the HUD isn't visible. At least, this piece of knowledge is going to be very helpful. The game won't let me charge a shot if I have 4 ammo or less. Also, it's very easy to replenish one beam's ammo by using the opposite beam. Now back to the run. To access the Guardian of Aegon Wastes, Amoris, I must collect 3 Dark Temple keys. They're all on my path to the temple. My strategy against Amoris is to stay in one area and shoot the sandform with Power Beam. When it attaches itself into the sphere in the middle of the arena, then I break its cover to expose its weak point, which can be damaged with a Morph Ball Bomb. The second base adds a second form, so I do the exact same thing, but I try to be aware where both of them are. When they attach themselves into the sphere, I use Light Beam to destroy one of their armor plates. If I'm not fast enough, they will start a laser attack that goes around the arena. During that attack, they are invulnerable to any damage. The laser isn't deadly, but it is scary if you get pushed far. The third base is pretty much the same like previous ones, but with a third form. When Amoris is defeated, I acquire the Dark Suit, which significantly reduces damage in Dark Ether's atmosphere. I proceed to the next region, called Torvus Bog. This is where difficulty starts to pick up. I usually consider this region the real beginning of the challenge. I travel through Torvus Bog to reach the temple. There I fight space pirates in a large room. Luckily, the Dark Beam helps me to defeat them easily. But I shouldn't underestimate these sections. I have died here before. After this battle, I earn the Super Missile, which unlocks green-colored doors. Next up is the gatekeeper of this challenge, and a nightmare for many casual gamers, Boost Guardian. The fight takes place in a very small space, with no safe zones. The fight itself is straightforward. I damage the boss until it enters a boost ball form, where it's invulnerable. To force it out, I use bombs. The arena has 4 pillars, which each contains a guaranteed 100 health refill. If they're all destroyed, then I have to rely on enemy drops. My strategy is to damage it with Light Beam and hope I don't get hit by its boost ball. The fight is unfair. Many of my attempts end to this boss. When the boss goes down, I can feel the relief, because one of the hardest boss fight of this challenge is completed. I collect the first temple key right after the fight. I backtrack to the temple grounds to collect the Seeker Launcher, which also gives me 5 extra missiles. This will be handy in all upcoming boss fights. Returning to Torvus Bog, I head to the lower part of the region for the next upgrades. This is the room where I struggled before, But I figured out how to defeat these two enemies with a single super missile, if timed correctly. If I run out of missiles, then I have to use charged beam shots, which is riskier, because I will be forced to take damage while firing shots. Afterward, I unlock the Particle Gravity Boost upgrade, which allows me to move freely underwater while gaining height as well. Right after this upgrade, there is a boss fight against Alpha Block. I use 2 super missiles and alternating between power and dark beam. I didn't find this to be a difficult boss, but I should have, because if it hit me 3 times, I would have died. Continuing in the area, I collect the second temple key and encounter the next boss, Grapple Guardian. My main concern is avoiding its grapple. If it grabs me, it will deal a lot of damage. Fortunately, I can use sidesteps to dodge its attacks and take cover behind pillars. The fight involves shooting its head to trigger the grapple attack, allowing me to shoot its back. After defeating it, I acquired its grapple beam and returned to the main area to collect the third temple key. Now it's time to face against the region boss, Chykka Larva and Chykka Adult, in a 2-phase fight. During the first phase, I use the light beam to damage it and switch to the dark beam when it tries to grab me. Ammo can be refilled from the enemies it spawns. In the second phase, the arena splits into 3 platforms. I must stun Chykka Adult to take down its wings one by one, which are hard to hit with anything besides missiles. When I take down every wing, it powers up with poison. During this phase, I can refill my ammo with small flies it spawns. I attack its weak point with light beam. Then it goes back to its regular form. And I repeat the process until it's defeated. When the fight is over, I'm rewarded with the Dark Visor, which reveals hidden platforms and enemies. Then I proceed to the final region of the game, called Sanctuary Fortress, the hardest area of the game. I fight against these pirates at the entrance bridge by using Dark Beam, but I gotta be careful to not be close to grenades they sometimes shoot. Those can one-shot me at full health. I navigate through Sanctuary, so I can fight against Spider Guardian. The boss itself isn't terrible if you're patient. I backtrack to Torvus Bog, where yet another upgrade awaits. Powerbomb Guardian fight happens in Dark Ether, though it isn't that difficult to get through. Then I have to go back to Sanctuary, so I move this big statue that leads to an elevator. Oh my god, I almost grabbed that. That would have been a run over. Like I just said, it would have been a run over if I collected that missile by accident. While making my way to the next upgrade in Sanctuary Fortress, I ran into an unexpected fight. Does that go through that? It does go through that. Oh my god. My god. I'm stuck. Oh my god. Oh! Why is there a second one? That, if anything, was the closest goal of this run. Okay, I'm gonna refill here anyway. I wanna know my HP. Oh, I have 8 HP! I got it really close there, but moving on. The second Dark Samus fight feels much easier than the first one. I have more space and covers. The boss goes down fairly easily without issues. Then I navigate through Inghive to obtain the Echo Visor. Next is to make it to the screw attack. I ran into more unexpected situations and almost died in Dark Ether. Fortunately, I managed to escape and refill myself to full health. This next boss isn't particularly a boss, but it's an obstacle I had to go through to continue this challenge. After this one goes down, all that is left is to solve a few more puzzles and collect this screw attack. I gather the remaining temple keys to face Quadraxis, the guardian of this region. Unfortunately, I made poor decisions and I couldn't survive for long. That is how far I was able to make with my insane rule set. It's disappointing how my best run ended like that, but let's go through what's left of this game. Quadraxis is a 3-phase battle with no save zones, relying solely on random drops acquired by breaking its leg parts. I practiced with an extra energy tank to figure out strats. I can use boost ball and bombs to break parts of its feet for drops. Power bombs won't be a backup. I use super missiles and power beam to destroy legs, while I conserve light beam ammo for the second phase. Quadraxis accelerates with each leg broken, and its weak point cycles faster. In a second phase, Quadraxis' head roams freely, while its body remains in a center, with an antenna guarding its weak points. I found a spot where I was able to stand on, and use screw attack to break the protective antenna, which stunts the head. All the remaining ones I take down with the light beam. The final phase begins when all antennas are down. On this phase, Quadraxis is stunned by shooting it. When it moves around the arena, I can launch myself onto its head to damage it. It's clear this fight is beatable even with these rules. After defeating Quadraxis, you will restore the energy in Sanctuary, return to the Great Temple one last time to obtain the game's final upgrade, the Light Suit. Then comes the task of collecting the 9 Sky Temple keys scattered throughout the game. Once they're all collected, then comes the fight against Emperor Ring, another 3-phase boss battle. In the first phase, you need to focus on taking down the tentacles, with 2 light beam shots each. When the weak point is exposed, you use super missiles and power beam shots to damage it. In the second phase, the Emperor retreats into its shell, but it has weak points which can be destroyed by using bombs or power bombs. Finally, in the third phase, you cannot damage Emperor before you expose its weak point by shooting them out. The color determines which beam you should use to damage it. Light is used against dark and vice versa. But it is not easy to shoot at the mouth. The front leg is on the way all the time. I tried to figure out this boss with an extra E-tank and HUD enabled, but I couldn't beat it. Even if you manage to beat Emperor Ring, you would have to fight against Dark Samus with a time limit. That fight isn't the hardest one of this challenge, just really stressful if you manage to get through everything else in a game. I don't believe anyone can beat this challenge. The game is roughly 6 hours long, and there are a lot of difficult boss fights. Despite what I'm saying, I will keep attempting this to see if I can get through Quadraxis. Come join my Twitch streams, where I try this challenge every now and then. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Metroid content. I hope you enjoyed this video.